Welcome, dear tea friends from around the world. And let's have a new tea class with me, Stefan Erler, from the blog TeaMasters and from the boutique TeaMasters.com. I'm doing a little bit different format today. I'm still going to do a tea brewing in front of your eyes, and I will still teach you about one tea subject. Today is going to be Celadon, porcelain, but I'm going to add something, a little prize to make this tea class a bit more interesting, and the prize will be the tea that I'm going to brew, actually. It's Tianchi oolong cha, Tianchi cha. Tianchi cha is one of the very best oolong, high mountain oolongs in Taiwan, because it's maybe the best, the highest garden in the Fushoshan farm. Fushoshan is already very, very famous in Taiwan for being the president's tea. It's a farm that was that has KMT, Chiang Kai-shek era connections, and for that reason, it has supplied for a long time tea to the presidential palace. I believe it continues to do so, because this plantation commands really one of the nicest places in Lishan, and it's really on the top mountain over there. And the Tianchi is one of the most beautiful tea garden in that complex of several tea gardens. Maybe they are not as famous as one other garden which has some fans to disperse cold air and frost, but the way it's located, really very high, exposed, surrounded by trees, really makes it really very beautiful. So today you are going to have a chance to win a package, a sample of this Tianchi cha, 25 gram. I will send it to you. If you answer well, a question I will ask at the end of this class. So you have to listen well, because the answer to the question will be given during the class, and the first person who will put the answer in the comment after I've asked about it will be the person who will win this tea. I will probably repeat it with the rules a bit later on, and let's start the class with some tea, because it's just more nice to drink tea and teach. So let's start right away to brew this Tianchi oolong. It's a Qingxing oolong. Of course, at these high altitudes, it's really mostly Qingxing. It's from this spring. So the elevation is around 2,500 meters. And of course I'm going to use a Juni teapot, and I'm going to pour it in some Celadon cups. Some modern Celadon cups made in Taiwan, and some Celadon cups is here made by David Louveau. So I'm mixing a little bit both to make things a little bit more interesting, then to see a little bit the differences. It's always fun to try the same tea in different cups to see how the cups affect the tea. I also have a Celadon genshui, a wastewater bowl, and a Celadon jar. You just saw it. Here is another jar I'm going to talk about, and Celadon ewer, made by David Louveau, based on Song Dynasty model. Okay, December, we're almost December, huh? So it can be cold. Remember to preheat your teapot on the exterior first to avoid a thermic shock. In Taiwan it's not so cold yet. That's why I'm already sweating a bit. Oh, it's hot. Okay, I hope you are maybe also following me while drinking some tea. If it's the evening in the US, don't drink a tea that is too strong, otherwise you won't be able to sleep. Hopla. But I need something to wake me up for this class. The kids in Taiwan have to go to school every day almost, so I have to get up also every day. It can be tiring. I need something now. And just to increase the temperature, make the leaves open up better, add some water on the outside also. This increases the temperature of the teapot and then of the tea inside that is brewing, and therefore the leaves are releasing more fragrances, more aromas. Okay, thank you very much for joining today's class about porcelain, Celadon porcelain in particular. Now let's start with Celadon. What does Celadon mean? In Chinese they say Qing, Qingzi for Celadon porcelain. Well, Celadon sometimes is translated as green blue or green or blue, but actually when we look at earlier Celadon porcelain, we can see that it's not even limited to these colors. It can be olive green, it can even be a bit yellowish or brownish, or later, especially with the Zhuyao, it really became bluish during the Song Dynasty, and later become again more green. Now, maybe the most liked stone in China is jade, and jade also has this different hues of green and yellow, a bit brown, and or white actually. So when the first potters in Chinese history were trying to make Celadon, actually they were almost like the Middle Age chemists in Europe who were trying to make gold. It's almost a work of alchemy, trying to achieve through mud and fire something that looks like jade, the stone that was so precious in China. And during the really ancient times, during Han Dynasty, the jade stones were so valuable that you could purchase whole villages with a whole village with just one piece of jade. They were called bi, flat, circular, with an empty circle inside, bi. So jade and Celadon really go have a little bit a common color, and researchers now tell us that green is a very peaceful color to look at. This is also what makes Celadon so peaceful to look at. Its green color. So actually, very early on, the Chinese potters were trying to make the pottery that would look like jade, and they really achieved Qingzi Celadon porcelain during the East Han, the later Han dynasty, that is 25 of our era to 220. So latest 1,800 years ago, the Chinese already mastered completely Celadon porcelain. So this is really very early when we consider that porcelain in Europe is only 300 years old. Actually, China had, so mathematically, at least 1,500 years advance in terms of porcelain technology. So porcelain is defined, of course, then by its white body, the white clay using kaolin, and it has to be glazed, and it has to be fired at least 1,200 degrees. So archaeologists have found in shards of the Eastern Han dynasty that they already met these conditions, and therefore can be considered as already fully Celadon porcelain, because of course these kind of inventions were not really inventions that happened overnight. It was really an evolution. Pottery has been around since prehistory in all around the world, and the techniques have slowly evolved, have been improved slowly in each dynasty. But it's so that we had already proto-Yuanzi, proto-porcelain before the Han dynasty, but it really matured during the Eastern Han and became fully Celadon porcelain in the Eastern Han. This tea is amazing. It is so good. Now, these cups made by David Louveau are based on Yuan Dynasty model. It was actually a Qinghua porcelain cup with a stand, and he turned it into something more simple of Celadon. And that's how you use it. That's interesting because you have the toe like this resting on your hand. Actually, it makes it it's very easy to hold actually. Very good design. Thank you, David. Now I want to show you some of these older. Here I have a book, Celadon from Longchuan, which shows, of course, Celadon from one of the most famous kiln, Longchuan. And you see here, for instance, that these Celadon wares are not always very green. So they can be very brown, yellowish, and light brown, yellowish. These are quite old. These were Western Han, so before. Okay. What else do we have? Here, Tang Dynasty. Also not necessarily very green. And here again, Tang Dynasty. Now, and sorry for the reflection. Some nice bowls. Now on that bowl, we have something that I was talking about. The fact about jade. Now, because they like jade so much, now here's another Tang bowl from the white one, and here is Celadon one. I try to put it very close, and look below the one, the view from under the bowl. What is interesting is that it has a B shaped. So instead of doing just a very thin foot, what they did in Tang Dynasty, they did the foot in the same shape as the jade that I was talking about, this B, which is where the inside, the hole inside is as large as the jade itself. The inside will be as large, so you have 1, 2, 3 lengths. So here you have jade, here you have the hole wound, and here you have jade again. So the bottom of these Tang Dynasty bowls quite often would look like this jade. And really, this shows the connection between Celadon and this precious stone. Now, what else can we say about, really, it's getting too hot. Celadon in these old times? In the Tang Dynasty, we have, everybody knows, Lu in his charging. And what did he say? And actually, he said, he wrote about the bowls, one, in the utensils that you need to prepare tea. And for him, the best quality you can find is in Yuezhou, the second in Dingzhou, and then Wuzhou. So, and Yuezhou bowl are Celadon porcelain, while Dingzhou are more white porcelain. And later on, he writes that the reason he prefers the bowls from Yuezhou is because in these bowls, the color of the brew will become more green, more fresh, while in the very white porcelain of Dingzhou or Xingzhou, he used both words, the color of the brew from the Tang preparation turns a little bit red, and he dislikes this color. He prefers the more green, fresh color, which we associate with Celadon and with nature, and that makes our eyes so peaceful when we look at something that is green, a forest, a prairie, Therefore, when we look at something green like Celadon, we also feel very, very comfortable. Okay, you can put some comments if you have. I've put my pad. If you have any questions, I can answer them while we go on. Let me also remind you that I'm drinking this Tianche oolong, and I will give away one sample of this tea to the person who will answer correctly the question I will ask at the end of the class. So stay around to listen well to this class, and so that you will have the information to be able to answer my question, and you can win a sample of this tea. Okay, this class is not going to last for 2 hours. In 20 minutes we should be done. Not that there are not so many things to say about Celadon, but we want to keep things to a minimum, and I want to show you now some more. Now, one thing that is interesting with me is that here I've tried to show you some pictures. You can also go on the guides that I've given the British Museum and also the National Palace Museum guides. You will find some very nice examples of Celadon bowls and Celadon ware in these guides. I recommend that you go to see the pictures of the items I've proposed there. And here I have, this is probably the oldest piece of Celadon that I own myself. You've probably seen it on my blog before. You can find it if you go on the Song Dynasty tea. I almost always use it when I prepare my matcha, my mocha, my green tea powder in the Song Dynasty way. This is probably late Song or at the youngest Yuan Dynasty jar for tea powder, and I'm using it to preserve my tea powder when I'm making Song Dynasty tea in it. Okay, let's first do some more High Mountain Oolong. Second brew, I have to pour very slowly. I'm not going to pour on outside. I think it does not need this push yet, but I'm already going to pour out. So let me remind a few important facts about Celadon porcelain. It came to maturity during the Eastern Han dynasty, 25 to 220 of our era. It's porcelain, so it contains a lot of kaolin. The clay is quite light in color, of course, maybe not as white as nowadays, but they already made a lot of progress in the crushing and cleansing and filtering of the clay. And what else? Oh. And it is a fire that over 1200 degrees, and it's glazed. The glazing helps to protect the content from the humidity, from the air outside, and it also, that's how also they impart this green color on the item that they are making. I even have some leftover green tea in it. Actually, it's still okay. You can see the clay is quite light in color, a bit yellowish, of course, with time. And now this Celadon, the color is not completely even. There are lots of cracks. Here, a larger place without cracks, and it is yeah, a bit more yellowish. So really, Celadon is not always something that is very green or very green-blue. It can also be a bit yellowish, especially when they are old. However, something that we have to know, like Celadon from Longquan, it has at some era it has a very distinctive green look, but it's very difficult to identify which kiln has produced which kind of Celadon by the color that it looks. The color will really vary a lot from one production to another, even from the same kiln. So using the color to say, oh, this is from Longquan, or this is from Genia, or from actually even Deroy had made some Qing Celadon porcelain. So it's very difficult to identify Celadon by its color, to identify the kiln by its color. But what you do is you look at the bottom. This is how best to identify it. Okay. Now the passion for Celadon is linked to jade, but it's not. What is also interesting, it's not shared by the whole China, and Louis points to this. He says, or he disagrees with those people who prefer the white porcelain from Dingzhou, and because he prefers the green Celadon porcelain from Yuezhou. And there is a saying in Chinese, Nanqing Bei Bai, below, south of the Yangtze River, people prefer Qing Celadon, and north of the Yangtze River, north of China, people prefer white. Now, this may have some practical reasons. In the north, it will snow more, white snow. In the south, it snows very rarely, and the forests remain green for a long time. This may explain why in China, in the north, they prefer white, very white colors, and in the south, Celadon. And therefore also most of the wet wares were produced in the north, and most of the Celadon wares were produced in the south. Now, there's another very secret story that I've already told, but I like to tell it again, and it touches on the Celadon porcelain. In order not to preserve a little bit the secret of good Celadon ware, during the Tang Dynasty, there was something called Misetse, the secret color, and the emperor, he had items that were made of that secret color, Misetse. And for thousands of years, scholars were looking at these documents talking about a secret color, but they never were able to point for sure where this secret color pottery, ceramic came from. Now this mystery was solved when the Famen temple made a new finding of in the pavilion of the emperor, and they found a whole stash of tea ware and also some religious wares. The imperial treasures, relics of Famen temple underground palace, and the flourishing tank. This is a book about all the relics that were found, and in this find they also found one bowl that was labeled Misetse. So for the first time, behind the name, they also had an item that we could at last identify as Misetse. Here is a bowl, and we can see this secret color that was the treasure of the emperor, is Celadon, and not just any Celadon. When they found this bowl, of course, they also analyzed it, and they found out that this bowl of Misetse is actually Yuezo Celadon, which is the bowl that Lu was recommending. So he must have been heard by the Tang emperor, who must also have thought that he was right, that this kind of Celadon makes his tea look the best, look the freshest, and that's why and he did not really want to then share with everybody, Louis, he said, Yuezo is the best, everybody should go and get one. But the emperor wanted to keep this secret for himself. So instead of saying, I have a bowl from Yuezo, he simply said, my bowl is a secret color. And I know where it comes from, but I won't let you know where I get it from, so that I can be the only one to enjoy it. Now, a bit in the same idea of a very exclusive, very special ware, we have another ware that is a Lu ware from the Northern Song. Actually, the period of production of this Celadon, which is a bit more bluish, lasted for a very short period of time. There are only around 200 pieces that are still available around the world, mostly in museums. In British Museum you will find some, and the biggest collection actually is in the National Palace Museum in Taipei and in Jiayi. So I invite you, when borders will be open again, to go to these museums and see these really beautiful wares from the Song Dynasty that are a bit more bluish, and they have sometimes pink reflections, because they were using some agate stones that made this porcelain even look a bit pinkish in the reflections. And this is something that David Louveau was almost is very close to achieve on this ewer. So I'm very thankful for his effort, and I'm keeping this with a lot of pleasure. And also here below we have something that is typical of ancient wares. We can really see how thick the glaze is. What is interesting with old Celadons is the thickness of their ware very often. Okay, thanks to the tea, I'm really starting to warm up and to feel very warm. Another nice example of a Celadon. This is a modern bowl by Michel François. Now we see this is very light in color and very light green. I also like it a lot. It's more like a piece of for a salad bowl or food bowl, but it's really very nice to hold. Of course, Michel François has also done these jars, and I like how the glaze becomes thicker at the bottom of at the foot of the jar. It's really very nice. In terms of ancient Celadon, we have also my Ming Dynasty grenades. Originally, these were used as grenades. Very thick glaze again. They were roughly made because they were not really made to last. They were made to be exploded. But now I'm using them as jars for tea, because they are made they are old, they are glazed. Celadon, it's nice. But again, we can see the color is not even, but this kind of roughness, unevenness, really you can see the hand of the maker. It's made in different with different layers on top of each other. When you touch inside, you can see, or here he has added another layer of clay to make it bigger. So what is really also interesting is each piece of Celadon is always a different green. So here I've presented so many different Celadons here. Of course, the new ones are the ones that are most perfect, the most pure in color. But when they are made by hand, they can have lots of very nice imperfections or changes in colors. And the green is really one of the most complex colors. It has so many hues, so many variations. Yellowish, a little bit brownish, bluish, olive. Here, yeah, again, warmer bluish. This is a Qing Dynasty with uneven color, a little soup spoon. So, and it has a function. It helps to make the tea color look more fresh. It has the advantage of being porcelain, so it's really very thin, very nice to drink from, very clean, very thin, and it protects very well from humidity thanks to the glazing. If it's a jar, the jar here with my tea, the smells really explode compared to smelling the tea from a plastic pouch. You almost don't get the smell of the tea. Here you have the smell of the plastic, and the tea is very subdued, even though there's much more tea in this pouch now than here in this jar. But here the smells really explode. They are all around, very pure, you close your eyes and you are in the forest, and it's then you open them again and you see the green, the green of the leaves, the green of the Celadon, and it's a real pleasure. Okay, I hope that you have enjoyed my class, and now it's time to give you a chance to win a sample of this Tianche Oolong. So, since you have well listened to the class, be ready. Put it in the comment section, and and the first one who will comment it right will win the sample of this tea. Tell me, during which dynasty Celadon porcelain was invented? The first person who sends me now the right answer, the dynasty when Celadon came to maturity, will win a sample of this tea. I'm still waiting. Now, listen again if you don't find it, and as long as there's nobody who has put this comment, you can still participate. And so I wish you luck, and I will then. It was in the beginning, but I repeated this information along, not so long time ago, Heidi. So good luck to you. What else? And I will then. No, it's not song. So. It's a hint. It's before song, much actually, and not just a little bit. It's now I was precise in the I really want the sometimes dynasties are cut into pieces. I want the exact portion because I mentioned it exactly. So hint to somebody who is in the right direction. It's we're almost there. I can see from but I cannot validate it completely yet. This answer. Okay, I'll make some tea while I continue to watch your answers. It's really turning out to be very fun. I hope that it was also fun for you, and I will do this again next week. There will again be a tea to win and a question to answer at the end of the class. So well, now I want the name of the dynasty. So Terry has the right date almost. It's until 220, but it's not 250. But I want the name of the dynasty, the exact name of the dynasty. Maybe I'm a bit too picky here. No. So I still have not seen the exact name of the dynasty. We are we are coming close, but yeah, like Valerie said, it's a second century in our era. 25, 250, the date is not exactly, but so we're coming close. I want the exact name of the dynasty. Okay, now for the third, I'm going to pour with a little bit more strength. Yeah, quite amazing that Celadon porcelain has already been with us or with the Chinese for over 1,800 years ago. So we have such long history of Chinese Celadon and so many different kilns. Well, Heidi, nobody's cheating because nobody has found the answer yet, so you can still give me the right answer. I still have not seen the complete answer of for my question of what is the dynasty when Celadon porcelain really matured. I've mentioned it at least twice. But I've not seen the answer yet. Yeah, maybe you have to open a different window and see me in replay. Anyway, if it's found later, I will contact the winner and ask for his or her address and send him or her 25 grams of this Tianche Oolong, which is really fantastic. It's from this spring. No, not yet. Come on. Oh, and yes, I forgot to mention it. Thanks for watching, and thank you also for liking this video. Share it if you want, and if you think it's worth sharing with your friends. Also, when you see it on YouTube, you may like it. This really helps also to make this channel more visible. I still hope that on YouTube I can get to 1,000 views, and so that I can make live videos on YouTube instead of Facebook Live and touch even a broader audience. Well, the maturity of you can say the peak for Celadon was reached during the Northern Song with Ru Yao, and with each following dynasties in the past, it has always improved. Valerie, you were right below, but it was not precise enough so I don't want to say too much of a hint. Now you are going. So the history of ceramics is a history of a continuous maturation and improvement. Each dynasty is usually improving on the previous one, and at the end of the dynasty there's a decline, and then it starts usually better in the in a new dynasty, or it will improve in the next dynasty. But the question is, at which point did really Celadon porcelain mature into Celadon porcelain, where the firing was high enough and where the clay was really could already be considered as porcelain? And this happened in that dynasty that I've mentioned before. And well, good luck to you. I'll stop now, and I'll contact the person who will give me the precise good answer in the comment section later on. Thank you very much. See you next week with another tea class with me, Stefan Erler.